Alright, we're going to start working on our trusses, but before we do that, I'd like you to actually virtually build your loft, which would involve putting on double top plate and assembling your loft floor, then the loft walls. I'm not going to actually make you draw out the loft, but I would like you to assemble it so that you have an understanding once it comes time for doing it on the job site. So we're going to need a couple things from the Google Classroom. You're going to want to download the Shed SketchUp, the one that says Start. And you're also going to want to open up the Loft double top plate ISO plan. So here's our plan, kind of an isometric view. When you first open up that SketchUp, it should look just like this. I want you to save it as your own. File, Save As, and put it into ThawSpace. By referencing the plan, you're going to work to assemble the double top plate in Loft. And I've kind of got it in order for you. Here's your double top plate over on this side, and then your Loft is over here. So you're basically going to work from left to right. This will be your last piece that goes on over here. Let's take a look at our plan. Alright, here's our plan. We can see we have double top plate here, double top plate, and if you look close, there's actually a double top plate up on top of here before we get into our loft floor. Double top plate back here. So let's go ahead and start on putting the double top plate into place. I'm going to go ahead, and I told you to start from the farthest. Let's go ahead and take this piece of double top plate here. M for move, grabbing a corner is good. And let's bring it up to the top. Now I'm going to put it in a weird spot here. I've aligned it with my 2x4 there because it is going to overhang over this edge. And now I'm just going to grab that corner and slide it out. Keep it on axis. And then I'm going to slide it out for an overhang 6 inches. 6, enter. There we go. The 2x6 double top plate is in place. Next piece, this little cat right here. When we move things, grab corners. I'm going to grab the corner down low. I want to bring it up into place. Right there. Let's see here. This one goes to the other. Oops. This one goes to the other side. Space bar for pointer. M for move. Grab a corner. And we're going to plop it in right there. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy on. M for move. Grab corners. Snap it right to that corner. And my last piece for my lower walls is this back piece. M for move. Oh, I need to grab, oops. Let's see, bring it right into place. Make sure you get them in the right spots. There we go. Alright, our lower wall double top plate should be completed at this point. And now we're ready to start assembling our loft. Let's take a look at what we have. Our loft has a floor system, floor framing system. Then it will have sheathing on top of that floor framing system, which should remind you of doing our lower floor. Then we'll start our walls. Now our walls are kind of small. They're short, I guess you could say, but walls nonetheless, following the same rules, 16-inch on center spacing, and then lastly a double top plate. Alright, now when you go to build your floor system, you're going to need to verify the actual length of your house, because you may have strayed a little bit from the specified dimensions, and when you build this floor system for the loft, you want to make sure that you go from end to end of your house, so you're going to want to make those measurements, follow the plans closely. Let's go ahead and bring our floor frame up to our second level here. Snap it into the corner. There we go. Now notice this, we're doubled up on the front of our floor frame. That's because of this it's virtually a 12-foot span. We wanted to make sure we had enough strength there. So we've doubled that floor joist up. And we're going to put our sheathing on top of that. This is a thin sheathing. We're just going to use a 1/2 inch. This is mostly just going to be storage up here. On our lower floor, we went with a 3/4 inch because people are standing on it. But this one is just going to be storage. We're just going with a 1/2 inch in this plan. Alright, so there we have our floor system in place and sheathed, and it stretches from end to end. Make sure you measure your existing lower wall's length and then cut your floor joist to match the dimensions. But notice the overlap. I have the rim joist overlapping, so this inner floor joist is actually going to be 3 inches less, minus an inch and a half for that, minus an inch and a half for that. So when I measure, if I'm 131 and a half minus 3 inches, it's going to be 128 and a half for my floor joist. Make sure you make that measurement. It'll make your house look a lot nicer when we go to sheath. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit big or small. We can work with it. Alright, time to put our walls up top. Let's go ahead. I want you to frame this right wall just like on the lower part first. And let's go ahead and put it into place. But remember, it's not going to be at the end. Look down here. Is our lower wall at the end? No, it's 3.5 inches over because this is a butt wall and this is a corner wall. So let's plan for that. Let's put our loft wall, right wall, 3.5 inches over. M for move. Grab the corner. Type in 3.5. There we go. Now it's in place. And you'll notice something interesting here. If you laid out your studs right, they should be in exact alignment with the lower wall studs. That's intentional. And those studs should be in exact alignment with your floor joists underneath. That's intentional. That way, afterward, when we're running some of our systems, electrical, heating, air conditioning, things like that, we can get into these stud cavities and go all the way up if we need to. So that's by design. Alright, now let's get our walls in place. I'm going to grab both of them at once. M for move. Now if you look at these walls, they're exactly the same walls. The front and back walls are exactly the same walls. There we go. Up tight to there. Let's check this back one, make sure it's in the right spot. Looks good. And then the last piece before we start our roof trusses is this piece of double top plate. M for move. Bring it on up. It's going to sit up here. But like the other 2x6, it's going to extend over 6 inches. 6, enter. And there you have it. You are now totally framed in, and you are ready to start adding your roof trusses, which will be the next tutorial.